Yo, what's up, everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and as you can see, we had another green day in the stock market. This honestly feels like it's just getting ridiculous at this point. I don't understand the market. It's not making sense. It says it's been it said it's been its best week since 1974 down here on the CNBC article. S&P 500 jumps more than 1%, capping off its best week since 1974. Like, what even is this? What even is this? I feel like we are just setting up for a Great Depression. We're setting up for everyone to just be completely disappointed. I think it's going to hit people with a lot of shock eventually because this just does not make sense whatsoever. And like I always say in these videos, this is just me simply sharing my thoughts and opinions, the moves that I'm making in the market, updating my portfolio, and this is not to be considered financial advice whatsoever. But in my opinion, this just doesn't make sense. The feds are pumping way too much money into the market. And in my opinion, we are giving businesses way too many bailouts for this to be economically sustainable. What is the point for businesses to even try, really, if the government is just going to keep propping them up? It's like there's no incentive for just a consistent, sustainable business that doesn't need help from the government because the Fed just keeps out pumping more and more money and printing more money. And this is going to lead to hyperinflation, certainly, in my opinion, and that is just one of the main factors that's going to contribute to an economic downturn. I honestly think that we are entering recession territory and even maybe like another Great Depression because of all of this fake market pumping up. I think this market is fake right now. I honestly do. I know I'm sounding like a conspiracy theorist or something, but this does not feel real or consistent with what's happening. I just saw an article that says there's more than 16 million Americans that have already lost their jobs within the past 3 weeks. And can someone just tell me how this is making sense that we have had the best market week since 1974. This is like a textbook dead cat bounce. This is what you would call that. Usually when someone says something is a dead cat bounce, that's when you have like a spike downwards and then it bounces back up and everyone starts to get a lot more bullish and thinking that the market is returning to status quo. And then that's when it spikes down even farther, even more than that bottom that we eventually got. And sometimes this happens very quick. And as you can see, a lot of these right here are just smaller dead cat bounces, but if you can look at it on a general like thing here, this could be just a much larger long-term dead cat bounce that takes a little bit longer than these smaller ones that we've seen right here. Like this is a dead cat bounce example that you can see right here just within March 6th to March 10th. That's a dead cat bounce, so it spikes downwards to a new low, rebounds, then it spikes down even farther, does the same thing right here, does the same thing right here. But if you think about it here as well, we are just seeing a much bigger, more general dead cat bounce, at least in my opinion. Often with recessions in past history, as I've said in other videos as well, you get this sort of rebound that lasts for like a long time. It sometimes lasts like a large amount of days, but it keeps gradually going up a little bit and up a little bit, and then it spikes back down. And that's when people start to realize that they are in deep and they are in a recession or a depression. And honestly, at this point, I feel like that is certainly possible. I definitely don't want to be a pessimist, but I feel like economically, there are so many things going wrong right now, and the market is being pumped up by things that are going to probably hurt it later on with hyperinflation and stuff like that. And honestly, I don't feel good about this market right now whatsoever. Even in my mind, I'm not even going to lie, as an investor, like I'm going to keep it real with you all. Like, if this were to return to my baseline investment, there would certainly be a thought in the back of my head like, okay, here's your chance to get out with what you got in at. This is how you get out without losing so much money farther on into the future. Like, I'm not going to lie, that is a thought in the back of my head. Like, if I reach that status quo initial investment, that $63,000 mark, there would be a thought in my head would be like, okay, this could be a time for you to get out before it hits the fan and you lose so much more money than you initially lost, even at this bottom right here. And I know you don't want to time the market like that. You don't want to try to do that, but it does, like, I have to admit, it does feel like there's just such an obvious downturn that is going to happen sometime soon in the future. It feels like it is just impending, that it's going to happen. So I sort of have these two ideologies of it's almost obvious that this is going to happen if I have a chance to prevent it ahead of time. then I could really help myself out in the future. But then I had the other ideology of not wanting to time the market or anything like that. So those two things are sort of combating inside my head, but I also don't want to miss out on potential gains as well in the future. If for some reason this market just denies all sorts of pessimism and goes back to a bull market, which I don't think is likely, but it's never out of the option, you know what I mean? But anyways, I'm remaining super cautious. That's all I have to say. I'm remaining super cautious. I'll keep you all updated on everything that I do in the future with this market. Like if I take out money, which is highly unlikely. I honestly don't think that I will be taking out money, but I will admit that it's a thought in the back of my head. Like I always like sort of preach the buy and hold long-term mentality. So I know this isn't going to matter that much into the future, but it could definitely set me back for like 10 years potentially if it is a really, really bad depression. But honestly, like right now, even if it is bad in the future, I think I will hold anyways. I know some people will call me not smart for doing that, but we'll just have to see what happens. I'm going to be careful with this, but I'm also going to be smart in terms of just the long-term perspective as well. I'm going to try to be at least. If the market was just simply going down, like say we hit this floor right here and it kept on going down, I would absolutely hold because that would be a bad time to get out if you're already in the negative. But it's the fact that it feels so fake right now that it's pumping up so much to almost like my baseline. It makes me like have that idea of, okay, at least you could leave this at an even number, at the price that you paid to start investing. Like you wouldn't be jumping out of the market at a negative, which is always a plus. So if I was already in the negative, it would be a lot easier for me to just buy and hold and just keep it that way because I'm not going to take it out at a loss. But I do have to admit that it's sort of like teasing me if it does get to that 63,000 mark and I have a chance to not lose any money whatsoever. So that's like one of the only things that is making me consider this. But honestly, I'm still emphasizing the buy and hold long term. But just to break down my earnings for today really quick, I got a 1.63% gain on VOO, and that is $480. That's 1.63%, as I said earlier. 0.05% on Microsoft just as the market ended. It ended at a positive note, which is pretty good because I think it was negative when I started this video. So I got $7.76. Not too bad. That's a minimum wage hour. I'll take it. And then we got Apple, so that was 0.99%. And I got $110. I'll take that. And then with Tesla, 5.56%. Tesla is an absolute beast sometimes. Like it's volatile, but when it does grow, it just blows your mind. Like you just cannot believe how much this thing grows. And I got $244, which is pretty awesome. But anyways, I just wanted to share this little update with you all. I'm being super cautious, like I said. I'm honestly worried a little bit about the future of this market, but I'll probably keep emphasizing that buy and hold long term because I know in 40 years that this little event is not going to matter that much. But I will admit, it's like I'm in a very specific niche predicament, and that is I would have the opportunity to get out of the market with no loss whatsoever. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that opportunity because they didn't start at the same time that I did. But I have to admit that I'll probably end up staying in the market regardless, just because like that's everything about investing. That's just what investing is. You have to stick through the hard times to get to the good times as well. And also just out of pure interest as well, if just in case you're interested in some of these free stocks that I got, they've performed pretty well. Over the past week, Plug has actually been up 13.31%. So that's an extra 45% of my portfolio off of a free stock, which is pretty nice. I'll definitely take it. Bed Bath & Beyond feels like it's been going crazy this week. Yeah, as you can see, it went up 57% this past week. Just imagine if you invested at Bed Bath & Beyond like at the 366 mark, and then you're already up 55% if you invested like $1,000. I kind of wish I could have that confidence to invest in a smaller stock like this that has that extreme growth in 1 week. But honestly, where I'm just a little bit of a cautious person, I feel more confident in putting like $1,000 into Microsoft or $1,000 into Apple or something. But if someone did have that sort of confidence in a stock like this, you could actually get a lot of pretty nice potential gains, as you can see with this one right here. Then also with this one as well, we went up 7% today on Caesars Entertainment. That feels pretty weird considering that it's like a Las Vegas casino holding company or something like that. And considering that like casinos are still shut down, that's just another example of what I was talking about earlier. It doesn't make sense as to why the stock would be bouncing upwards when Literally all of the casinos are closed right now, and all of these resorts and cruise lines are closed. That just doesn't make sense whatsoever to me, but as you can see in the past week, this has done extremely well also. That's up to $8 right now, so 2 $8 free stocks is pretty awesome. Then we have Limelight Networks. I actually wasn't even familiar with this one until I got it for free. I'm honestly not exactly sure what this one is, but I feel like it's some sort of like online video and cloud service or something like that, but I honestly have no idea. There's the description right there. Basically explains everything if you want to pause it, but its growth for this week, let's see what this is. 1.42%, so not as good as the others, but it's still a $6 stock right now about it, so that's pretty awesome. And then ADT, a pretty high quality security company, just from what I've seen in like commercials and stuff, like ADT is usually the go-to when I think of home security. So it actually did very well today, about 14% in growth, and holy, 30% up just this past week. I did not realize that now, but that was a nice free stock as well, $5.35. And then of course we have GE, and this is the General Electric company. And this one, it's not doing too well this week, but it's still at $7 and 2% gains is pretty nice. The 5-year trend is not good at all though, so I may consider selling this one soon because I feel like it's going to go down regardless of what the market does in the future. But, you know, $7 free is pretty nice. But I just wanted to show that off as well. I know I don't usually cover these free stocks, but I figured I would do it one time for one video, just for pure interest's sake. But anyways, I just wanted to share this video with you all. And if you want to support videos like these, I'd really appreciate you smashing that like button, dropping a like on the video, commenting some of your thoughts and opinions about the market. I'm honestly super interested to see what everyone else has to say, because this just feels like we're in such a weird point, and like I'm feeling very, very cautious right now. I'm not buying any stocks or anything like that. And if you do want to start investing right now, I'm not a big fan of the idea of buying stocks right now, but I don't think there's anything wrong whatsoever with creating an account. So if you want to create a Webull account or a Robinhood account, I'll leave my referral links down in the description below, and we'll both get a free stock, which is pretty awesome. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.